What's up, fine folks? Welcome to Quick Check, episode 31 of Double Tap. I am Jay.
I'm Tanner.
Tanner,
we don't sound sick anymore.
We don't.
We don't sound like we have allergies.
And even though the weather has still been a weird roller coaster,
yes,
it's inexplicably like 40 degrees today.
Yeah,
it doesn't fit. I thought about this before I rang your doorbell.
It's a warm 40.
Exactly. It's exactly what I thought.
When I went outside, I was like, oh.
I was like, oh shit, it's 40 degrees outside. I knew it was gonna be cool.
Yeah.
And I walked out and I was like, it kind of feels nice.
Yeah, it's one of those days of like, if it was like 5 to 10 degrees warmer, you'd be like, oh, it's a nice day.
Yeah, I could go play golf, do whatever. Right?
Yeah.
And with this, it's like, oh, it's just a little brisk.
Yeah, it's deceptively cold.
Yeah, it is.
Because you go out and the sun's shining and it's, very just simple, nice weather everywhere else, and it's just a little bit too cold.
Yeah, that tells me that spring may finally be here. It's like, oh, it's cold, but it's not winter cold.
Yes. Yeah.
Anyway.
There's your Kentucky weather report.
Today is always a weird one. Today we take flight.
Beer's called Flight.
Yingling Flight. This is basically just Yingling's version of every other light beer. But I think it's my new favorite of the, pretty typical light beers.
Oh.
It's very nice and crisp.
There's no fun write-up on it. However, it does just say, the next generation of light beer.
And it's a very cool, Yingling... okay, so my understanding is that Yingling is a very East Coast thing.
Yes.
I think it's a Pennsylvania brewery.
You couldn't get it here for a long time.
No, it just came around here 5 years ago.
Yeah, something like that.
But this is, in terms of their branding has always been very old, retro, 70s, 80s. And then this is very modern and smooth.
It's very...
he's a graphic designer, not me.
That's a good way. It's very minimalist. It's just kind of a white can with some wings, their logo, and a stripe that says Flight. I like it. Yeah. It's very to the point.
And good for warmer weather. Mm-hmm. Tanner.
Yeah.
We just talked to each other we literally said what we were playing.
Before I cut you off.
We didn't go into any details. So you've been playing Horizon.
I have.
Tell me about it.
I'd say I'm probably 10 hours in now.
Okay, so you may have passed me. I'm curious.
Probably not.
Okay.
Because I ended last night's stream. I'm playing this only on stream, so everything takes longer than it would if you were just playing it in the living room or something. I just got my first tall neck.
Okay.
So I've been doing some side stuff, kind of taking my time with it. But I'm assuming I have seen the thing you were talking about. Was it the embassy?
No.
Oh, okay.
So
interesting.
Or the embassy being the thing where you meet the other tribes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not what I was talking about.
Because that was a pretty momentous, cool moment.
It was cool.
I liked that moment a lot. I'm not trying not to spoil.
Yeah, and that's the moment that introduces you to the full-on Forbidden West open world.
Yes.
No, that is not the moment I was talking about. So
okay,
good to know that you're still not there.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what that is.
And really, when I think back, the moment that I was referencing leads into the moment that I was referencing later, where your mission structure gets split off. It's like, okay, now you kind of go do one of the missions of your choosing.
Right.
But yeah, no, you have not hit the thing I was talking about.
Okay, that's good to know. So my advanced sort of takeaways from last week. Love the character-to-character interaction in this game. It is so much better than the first game. It's one of the best, as far as open world games go, I think maybe the best as far as Aloy talking to another person dialogue that I've seen. All these people feel real. The facial animations and just the entire character animations, because I've noticed the body hair on people, especially on the men, looks insanely realistic. There's arm hair. One of the guys had a happy trail. It was kind of I've never seen that in video games before.
Sure.
Just being able to see individual body hairs. The game looks beautiful. Really loving the just moment to moment combat too. Now that I've gotten, because starting out you basically just have a bow.
Yeah.
And then you kind of get more tools as you go along, and that helps you fight the enemies in different ways. They have different weaknesses, just like the first game. Really love sort of the puzzle side of it in real time, where you're like, okay, if I could get them to come into this trap, then I can shoot them, then I can, all that kind of stuff. The other main takeaway is that I've just been saying this game is really good a lot while I've been playing it, which is always sort of an indicator to me of how much I like a game. I feel like every time I stream a game, I'm like, oh my God, this game's awesome. And I say that a bunch, we're in a good spot.
Sure.
So really liking it so far. Obviously, not super far in still, but really enjoying it.
Which that speaks to our, like, I wouldn't consider myself just a mainline quest person when it comes to open world games like that.
Sure.
But I'm probably less of a side mission hustler than you are. I sort of mix and match. Like, I'll do a few main missions and I'll like do a couple side missions, but then I'll always return and do a few main missions in a row. But yeah, that's curious because I know I've probably played less hour-wise than you, even though I've gotten to that story beat.
Yeah, that's funny.
Which kind of is what puzzles me. But there's so much to do in that game that it's not really that surprising.
Have you played the board game in this game?
No, not yet.
Okay, I think it's called Strike, maybe? It's basically not in the way it plays, but functionally serves as the Gwent of this game, where there's like, another game you can go play.
Yeah.
A buddy was telling me that it's basically baby Fire Emblem.
Oh.
It's kind of like somewhere between like chess and Fire Emblem. It's pretty fun. I've enjoyed it. I would say I'm definitely not like a completionist. I'm not a person where I have to do all the side quests in an area, then I can do a main quest.
Yeah.
But I'd say percentage-wise, I've been like at least 50-50, if not leaning more toward the side quests. So yeah, I'm enjoying taking my time with it.
Yeah. And I like to have side quests left to do after I beat the main quest.
Sure.
Because then if you beat the main quest and you're over the game, like you're like, okay, I like this game, but I'm kind of done with it. You don't have to do everything else, and you don't feel like you've wasted your time.
Right.
But if you're loving it, you're like, oh, I've got more game to play.
Yeah.
I kind of like that.
Yeah, it's totally fair.
And you've been playing only pretty much Horizon?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's the only game I've played. You've been playing only one game too, and it's Elden Ring.
Yeah. I'm about 60 to 60. I think I'm about 60 hours in now.
Wow. Percentage-wise, where would you say you're at? Do you know?
I would say about 80.
Oh, okay.
85.
All right.
I'm in what I would call, I maybe have just started the like in-game.
Sure.
I haven't beaten the actual main, I haven't beaten the last real boss yet.
Okay.
And there might be a couple of bosses in my way before I get to that point.
Right.
That being said, I'm ready to say that Elden Ring is a 10 in my book, and it's already pretty much going to establish a place in probably my top 10 games of all time.
Wow. Wow.
It is going, unless something really weird happens in the last couple beats here, it's going to be my second favorite FromSoft game behind Bloodborne.
Whoa, okay. So it'll jump Sekiro? Okay.
And I love Sekiro. I've said that Sekiro has my favorite combat in a game. And like that's the thing that if you were making the argument for Sekiro to be a 10, which I give it a little less than a 10 personally, but the combat is so damn good that I would not begrudge anyone giving it a 10.
Yeah.
And the combat in this game is not the differentiator because it's just basically Dark Souls.
Right.
If you like Dark Souls combat, you're going to like the combat in this game.
Yeah.
It's just the world and the consistently surprising nature of the world that is just almost unlike any game I've ever played. I can't articulate just how interesting and cool it is to find new places in this world that you weren't expecting. Now, and I want to put this out there, I know pretty much all the bosses that I still have to fight. I reached a point, and this could be sort of, and I don't want to be sort of saying that you should seek help in this game.
Okay.
But I don't want people out there to think that like if you've played this game and this game is so dense and there's so much stuff to it, I don't want people to feel bad if they resort to like, okay, I need a little bit of direction as to where I should go next or some understanding of what I should do. Because like there was one point in the game where I was like, okay, there's an area that seems to be right in front of me that is basically inaccessible. But it seems like there could be like 3 or 4 ways in. So I don't know if there's a different way in.
Yeah.
No, it turns out there was only one way to get in. It was by beating this certain boss. But it was not in a typical boss arena. So I was like, I don't know if this is the right way to go to get in, if there's another way.
Gotcha.
So like, don't be afraid to seek hints. And it's not like there aren't, the nature of FromSoft games, they love to include like the player-oriented or player-created messages in the world.
Finger butthole or whatever.
Exactly. Try finger butthole.
Try finger butthole. That's it.
Try jumping after every clip.
Yeah.
So it's the game itself builds in the sort of mechanism for you to get help from other players because it sometimes is helpful what people leave behind.
Sure.
But this just seems like a game that has created such a conversation.
Yes.
And like everyone has played it and everyone is talking about it that it's almost a collective experience in a way that I've never really seen a game be before.
Yeah.
So I'm taking in the experiences of other people and almost like, okay, I got this far on my own, and now I'm ready to sort of accept the wisdom of the crowd to get me to the finish line.
Right, yeah.
Which is really cool. You're going to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to say that's one of the reasons that I felt okay delaying playing Elden Ring so that a few people in the community would know what's going on.
Yeah.
So at any point, because I feel like with FromSoft games, the fun of it for me is more the boss fight side of it, or at least, the combat side of it. I've never really loved the I don't know where the fuck to go side of it. So I always like having someone I can be like, not all the time, but if I get lost or if I'm just hitting a wall, I'm like, hey, can someone just point me the right direction?
Yeah.
I'll go there. So it's interesting that you're having that experience, but not even in a streaming aspect, just like from the internet.
It's taken over my TikTok. It's taken over my YouTube. Like it's just everywhere. And there's a point, and I recommend going into the game as media blackout as you can.
Yeah, which is what I've done.
And then, exploring to your heart's content. But the moment that you start to feel bogged down by either the amount of stuff that you have that you could do, or you just reach the point where like, okay, I just need to know how to beat this boss to progress.
Yeah.
Don't be ashamed.
Right.
I've done it a couple of times. There's a boss that's, let me just say, I'm dreading.
Oh, no.
A boss that I know is out there that is not mandatory to beat the game.
Okay.
Of which there are so many bosses that are in this game that are not mandatory to beat the game that it's ridiculous. But I would feel like I was cheating myself if I didn't at least try to fight that boss.
Now, have you platinumed every FromSoft game?
No, I've only platinumed Sekiro and Bloodborne.
Okay.
Now, I'm glad you brought this up. The reason that I haven't platinumed the Dark Souls games is primarily because I never play the games with a magic build.
Right, and you have to get like all the spells.
You have to literally
something.
find like every different type of spell in the game because those are trophies.
Yeah.
This game does the build variety better than any game that they've ever made.
Oh, wow.
And in fact, I am a melee user to the core.
Sure.
And in Bloodborne-ish fashion, I rarely use a shield.
Yeah.
I'm mostly just a dodge roll to evade attacks. I rarely try to parry. I rarely try to just block.
Yeah, same here.
For the first time, I have tried to incorporate a different element into my build.
Okay.
And I think this is an element in other Dark Souls games where there's like the blood loss mechanic. Mm-hmm. Some enemies, they have like weapons that implement like, your little status bar, and it's usually like a blood, like red drop, and then it builds, and if it builds all the way, it takes like a giant chunk of your health.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And in this game, and I think in those games too, you can do that to enemies. You can have weapons that have bleed as like a element to them.
Yeah.
Instead of just going full basic, melee, I have found a weapon and upgraded it fully that does bleed damage. And the bleed elements and like special moves use the blue bar, your FP, your focus points that typically are reserved for like magic and stuff.
Sure, so your mana basically.
So I'm having to basically, for the first time, think about that bar. I had completely ignore that bar in other games.
Right, yeah.
But I mean, and there's another great thing, and this is another awesome thing that they included in this game. There is a mechanic you have to get to a certain point in the game to unlock.
Okay.
But as long as you do, you can go find a consumable in the world, and then you can respec your character at any time.
Oh, that's awesome.
You have to spend this consumable, and this consumable is apparently not limited. It can be found, it's just rare.
Right. And for those of you who don't know, by the way, respecing is when you change all of your base stats.
Yeah, because I'm level like 120.
Okay.
And so when I hit like level 100, I was like, I found this weapon. This weapon is apparently very good. It does the bleed damage. I'm going to respec and add to my, I think it was arcane.
Sure.
One of the things that I would never normally touch.
Yeah.
But I need to for this weapon, and this weapon scales with arcane. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go, and then I respec, and now this weapon is doing more damage than my previous melee only weapon was. Yeah. But then if you want to go all magic, there's builds for that. If you want to go anywhere like a paladin type build where like your magic but your melee, and you're like incorporating magic into your weapon, you can get all sorts of varieties. Like it's insane. And even some of the builds that aren't functionally good but aesthetically cool, I've seen people do.
Okay.
There's a build, the weapon I used for a long time is the twin blade. Picture a double-sided lightsaber, but metal.
Nice.
It's that sort of, you hold the hilt and then there's a blade on either end.
Yeah.
But people are building it and then applying like a red buff to it and making like Darth Maul. Like
That's cool.
And it's like really cool. So there's
Yeah.
a lot of possibilities like that. So yeah, I think I noted it in I went back to my top 25 games of all time. Right now, I'm tentatively placing Elden Ring at number 8.
Whoa, already?
Yeah.
Wow.
And because I know I'm going to want to play it again, and maybe
Wow.
with a different, more unique build.
Yeah.
It's because if you plan that from the beginning, it just benefits you that much more.
Sure. Man, I'm so excited to play it.
So, and again, I don't want to overhype it for anybody.
No.
I love these games, so it was
Yeah.
no surprise I was going to love this game. It just does certain things so different from the rest of them.
That's what I was going to say. As someone who has played my fair share of them, I've only not played Dark Souls 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Your excitement for it has gotten me excited in a way that, like, I was already excited for the game, but I was like, okay, Horizon's out first. I have to finish Horizon before I can play Elden Ring. Like, that's just the rule I've made for myself. I don't want, because I know if I don't, I'll do what you did and just put Horizon to the side and
Which
play
that
it.
was sort of, I knew that's what I was going to do going in.
Sure,
Was like,
yeah.
Unless Horizon just somehow like left hooks me and just pulls me in.
Right.
I was like, as soon as Elden Ring comes out, I'm playing it till the wheels fall off.
Yeah. But no, the excitement isn't just... This game feels so different, even from just hearing your account of it, from all the other Souls games, that I'm so excited to experience how it's different.
Yeah.
And like even you talking about finding a new weapon and trying that out. Of course, Sekiro was the last, well, Demon Souls technically, but when Sekiro came out, obviously you can't change your weapon in that. So I'm excited to even try new weapon builds again. That seems like a new experience again. So I'm pumped.
Yeah. So can't wait for anyone out there who hasn't experienced it to do so.
Yeah.
And I'll talk about it a little more actually in one of our news stories, but let's move on to the rest of those. The biggest of which, PlayStation Spartacus's reveal is imminent.
Yes.
Reports from Jason Schreier says that it could come as soon as this week. So it's possible by the time that this podcast actually releases, we know a lot more. Whether it actually like rolls out or not, or whether we just know the details, to be determined.
Yeah.
But we are expected to know a lot more about it very soon, and I'm anticipating buying it day one.
Me too.
Yeah.
I doubt there's unless it rolls out just as like
As a
PlayStation Plus Collection Plus, and it's like 4 more games or something.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll both buy in. So this is gonna come into our big topic. If you've seen the title of the episode, obviously you know that already. But some questions I have for you outside of what games do you want to see on it, because that's kind of our big topic. Price point.
Yeah.
What do you think it's going to be? What do you want it to be?
Well, so
obviously you want it to be free, but that's not going to happen.
You relate it. I mean, standard Game Pass is $10 a month, correct? And then there's Ultimate,
if
which
it's
is
just on
15.
console, yeah,
right,
or just on PC.
I mean, you have to assume it would be relatively the same price. So I'm assuming $10 a month because like a year of Plus was always $60.
Sure.
So double that price for a year, combine the two services, seems reasonable, you know?
Do you think, I'm assuming, what do you think becomes of PlayStation Now?
I think they're folded together.
I think so too. Yeah. I think PlayStation Now ceases to exist.
Yes.
Do you think there is a like, you have 9 months of PlayStation Now left. Here is 3 months of the new service. Do you think they'll do that? Because I think you kind of risk pissing some people off.
That's true.
If
That's
they
a good
just
point.
got a year of PlayStation Now.
You know what? Yeah, I bet that they. Here's what I would bet happens. My assumption is that PlayStation Plus has a wider subscribership than PlayStation Now.
Without a doubt.
So I don't think they're gonna feel as bad pissing off the PlayStation Now people. So my guess might be that PlayStation Plus subscribers get this service for free until their subscription runs out. PlayStation Now subscribers, maybe you're out of luck.
Oh, see, I would see it going the other way more.
Really?
Because PlayStation Plus. So on Xbox, if you have Game Pass, that doesn't mean you have Xbox Live. I think Ultimate includes both, so there's a way to bundle them. But PlayStation Now, because PlayStation Plus still serves a purpose outside of whatever this Game Pass thing is going to be.
Yeah.
Right. It's still access to live,
online
like online games, and you have your monthly games that are going to be separate from Game Pass that you're going to own as long as you have a subscription. Like with Game Pass, if a game's not on Game Pass anymore, then you can't play it. So I would think, but if this is going to be, and the only thing we know is that it's going to be similar to Game Pass, if it's a 1-to-1 to Game Pass, it's going to cannibalize PlayStation Now.
Sure.
So I think because Plus would still have, there's still a reason to have Plus outside of the game library, and PlayStation Now, the only reason to have it is the game library, I think they might be more likely to say, no, I don't think it's going to be 1-to-1. I don't think it's going to be like, you have a year of Now, guess what? You have a year of Spartacus, whatever they're going to call it. It's not going to be called Spartacus. But, maybe it's 3 months, or, all PlayStation Now subscribers get a free month or something like that. I feel like they're going to do something like that.
But the counter argument there is that you don't get any, or at least until relatively recently, you didn't get any additional benefits for having Xbox Live. Now they sort of aped the PS Plus model of like 2 free games a month.
Games with gold.
Much more recently.
Yeah. It's been a couple years ago now, I think.
Yeah. But that's sort of been PlayStation Plus's thing from the beginning.
Sure, since the network outage in like 2014 or whatever.
And since the PlayStation Plus collection is still linked to Plus, you don't need Now to access those like 10 whatever games. I still think arguably Plus is a better value proposition than Now. I know Now has a lot more games.
Agreed.
But not a lot more games of good quality or, good value, whatever.
Sure, yeah.
And I just think the PlayStation Plus brand is so much more recognizable that I still wouldn't be surprised if they just fold Now into Plus. The new service is just like Plus, but new.
Yes.
PlayStation Plus.
PlayStation Plus.
They'd still just call it PlayStation Plus. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened.
No, me neither.
Yeah. Super excited, hoping not to be utterly underwhelmed by whatever their lineup is going to be.
Me too, which we'll talk about more
definitely
later in the show.
Speaking of more PlayStation news, PlayStation has officially acquired Haven Studios.
Yeah, I saw this.
Jade Raymond's new venture. She had previously helped pioneer the Assassin's Creed and Watch Dogs franchises. And now this is almost a year to the date removed from when they had announced sort of like a second-party partnership with Haven, like that Haven was planning to release like a third-person or AAA like multiplayer game on PlayStation.
That's right.
But now they're officially first-party.
So that tells me that whatever game they're working on looks promising.
Sure.
Because they want to just go ahead and, you know what? Like, we think this is going to be good. We want to own you. Here's your money. Let's do it. Yeah, good for them. Again, it's kind of hard to judge Haven because we don't know anything they've ever made. Obviously, Jade has a lot of good quality titles behind her, but we've seen so many studios with like one lead person succeed and not succeed. So I hope it's good. Obviously this is a good sign. This is sort of the opposite of what was the name of that game? It was the indie game that was going to be a PlayStation exclusive and then wasn't, and they took away the PS5 units. Do you remember this?
Yes, but I do not remember which game you're talking about.
It looks like it's in like Greece.
Shit.
It's like a puzzle game, kind of Zelda-like, but it's like more painterly art style.
I know what you're talking about, but for the life of me, I don't remember what the game is.
I'm gonna look it up.
Okay.
You shed some light here.
Yeah, I'm sort of. I don't know. It's hard to be optimistic because my gut is like, okay, if Jade Raymond with her experience at Ubi is going to do something in the same vein as AC and Watch Dogs, and my assumption based on all the reports is that they want to do a AAA multiplayer open world, something in the same vein as those games. You know what that sounds like to me? Watch Dogs Legion.
It does.
You're
right.
That didn't go over super well with the public. So hopefully my take is that PlayStation sees enough in this game from the early, idea stages and maybe early alpha builds, whatever, to say, oh, this is going to be successful. That's why we want to buy you. I hope that that's their play here.
And I mean, that would be the most obvious rationale as to why they would buy them. Rhyme was the name of the game. So yeah, if you didn't know that story, it was going to be a PlayStation exclusive. PlayStation went and visited them or, whatever, saw the game, was like, you know what? We actually don't want to fund this anymore. Give us our dev kits back. I don't know if all that happened, but that's what the report was. But apparently Rhyme was still decent. Yeah. So they must just have a really high bar for quality.
Yeah. And my other take here is that, compared to what Xbox's acquisitions have been lately, Haven was probably pretty cheap.
Yeah, very true.
So for hopefully what could be a game that reaps a lot more rewards than it costs to acquire the studio, this was probably a good financial move.
Yeah, you can buy a whole lot of Havens for an Activision.
Absolutely you can. Next up, and I've included this for once, there's a lot of good game releases in the last couple weeks.
Okay.
So I've just included a little bit of a review rundown. 3 of the big games that have released in the last few weeks and their Metacritic scores, just to give us an idea.
Like this.
Apparently, Kirby and the Forgotten Land is great.
Yeah, I saw this.
Has a Metacritic of 84, plenty of 9s from major outlets.
Wow.
So, good for me.
Yeah, you're just so excited about Kirby being back.
And I'm not even probably going to buy this game. You know? Haven't touched my Switch in months.
No, me neither. It's right there.
I'm just happy that my boy Kirby is getting some love.
Yeah.
Because I've always loved Kirby and Kirby games.
Have you seen at certain Targets... You know how a Target has the big red ball on the outside?
I did see
They
this.
skinned over it with Kirby.
So wait, that's like an official thing?
I think so.
I hope so. I didn't know if that was someone who just did like... Wait, so it's like a fabric?
Yeah, it's like like an umbrella cover kind of
or
thing.
Like a seat cushion or a seat cover, couch cover cushion.
Keep trying.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so this is from Nintendo Life. Random, everyone wants to steal Target's new Kirby balls. This is what they look like.
Yeah.
They look like they're some sort of polyester, maybe.
Yeah. Because at first I saw that and I was like, oh, someone just did that.
Oh,
But I
it's
like
like
that it's more of an official campaign, hopefully.
Yeah.
Next up, predictably, Ghostwire Tokyo is unsurprisingly mid. Metacritic 75.
I've seen some promising things from this.
Some people love it.
I forget who it was, and I forget the exact combination of games, but I saw someone say that it was like Yakuza meets Dishonored meets, I think like Silent Hill maybe. Like it's an interesting place to live for a video game. I don't know that I'll be playing it anytime soon.
No.
Unless it were to come to like a PlayStation
I'm not
Plus
getting it
Plus.
until it's free.
Yes. But it looks interesting.
Interesting enough,
Yeah.
especially aesthetically. Like I did like the sort of neo-noir, futuristic, ghostly stuff that it had going. It was cool looking, but...
Oh, BioShock was the other game that I saw it being compared to.
Yeah, well, I guess...
Which I get.
And it relates to the, Dishonored and BioShock are very one-to-one comparable, so it wouldn't surprise me.
But yeah, I've seen some gameplay clips. I was like, oh, this looks more fun than I expected.
Yeah. And then Tiny Tina's Wonderlands is about what you would expect from a Borderlands spin-off. Its Metacritic is an 80 right
I was gonna guess an 8.
That's dead on, like...
They put out good games for the people who like those games.
Yep.
I will say I do like this idea. We've talked about it a couple times now, I think, with... I think we reacted to whatever show it was revealed on.
Yeah, we did.
Some E3 show. I like that they didn't just go, here's another DLC, but as a $40 game. I like that it's conceptually a little different.
Yeah.
And seems pretty creative. So.
And for as zany of a universe, they can really get away with that.
Yes, yeah.
You don't release a game called the pre-sequel without having a little bit of a tongue-in-cheek nature.
Yes, yeah. Borderlands is basically the Deadpool of video games.
Yeah. And then the last story here, rotating back to Elden Ring, is selling gangbusters.
Not surprised.
It's already From Software's best-selling game ever.
Wow.
At over 12 million copies.
Whoa.
Now, I'm going to pull up this article.
That's a lot.
And this is from Ars Technica, Kyle Orland.
Shout out.
And in his article, there's a chart that shows the sales of all of the From Software games. I recommend anyone out there go look this up.
Okay.
And when you look at the trajectory of the sales,
Yeah.
first of all, it's already passed within the first, 3 weeks that it's been out.
Sure.
Past every other game. The only game that was relatively close to it is Dark Souls 3, which sold 10 million copies. I'm going to make you guess. How many days do you think how many days do you think it's been since Dark Souls 3 came out, I guess? But how many days do you think it's been that it took for Dark Souls 3 to sell 10 million copies?
Okay, hold on. Will you send me that chart and I'll put it in the video?
Absolutely,
so
I'll
see
do
it.
that.
I'm timestamping it right now.
Okay.
How many days do I think it took Dark Souls 3 to sell 10 million? What year did it come out?
2016.
I was going to guess 2016. I'm going to say it took it 2.5 years to hit 10 million.
So about 900 days.
Sure.
It took it 1,500 days.
Whoa, okay, so...
And its trajectory is very
so 4 years.
Yeah. It took it a while to hit that point. I'll find this and send it to you.
Yeah, we can do it after the show.
Nothing else is even close. Like Dark Souls 1, like half of Dark Souls 3, that's like your next peak. So
wow, okay.
the fall off after Elden Ring is so steep and was so long in a trajectory for the sales of these games. Bloodborne, 2 million copies obviously it's exclusive.
Sure.
So that caps it, but like
it's only sold 2 million total?
Yep.
Whoa.
That's crazy.
Because like I know with that game, it had a really long tail.
Yeah.
Like it came out and then the hype about it, I mean, you and I both kind of came on board with Bloodborne.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people who did. But really 2 million surprising if this game has sold 12 million. Like you said, it's on everything, but Jesus.
Yeah, it's a ridiculous trajectory.
How did Sekiro sell?
Sekiro, let's see, has sold about 5 million copies. Okay. That seems about right. But for Elden Ring
is killing
to have already more than doubled a game like Sekiro in the first few weeks, and the cultural, like, you know, what's the word?
Osmosis?
Oh, God. Now I'm looking for a word.
Okay.
Impact? Zeitgeist.
Oh, right, yeah. It is the zeitgeist.
The zeitgeist that it's sort of created.
It's
going to sell a lot more here in the next month or so, I have to imagine. So we're going to get more Elden Ring. Like, whether that's in the form of DLC, sequels, whatever. This game is a certified new
banger
thing from Software.
Well, I think a good sort of way to gauge that is often when people who aren't necessarily gamers in your life are talking about a video game. That is a good way to gauge its sort of cultural impact. And one of my bosses has asked me like 3 times now if I've played Elden Ring yet. So it's one of those games. It's really making quite a sizable impact.
Also, one random thing, if you ever paid attention to any of the marketing for Elden Ring, most of the characters that were in the marketing are actually in the game and relevant, which is kind of weird for me to think about with a FromSoft game. Like, you don't usually think about the characters or like things you see as like fleshed out individuals.
Yeah,
or just
you don't
like,
think of
I'm going to walk into an arena and fight this person one time.
Right.
And even though some of these you're going to walk into an arena and fight them, they have a lot more fleshed out lore and more interactions than typically other games. So I like to see that, like, more of a fleshed out story than usual.
Here's something I wonder.
Okay.
How much has George R.R. Martin's name added value to this franchise?
I actually want to say not that much.
I do too, but I mean, it's such a big jump.
That's true.
I think you could probably falsely attribute some of that to that. And I'm sure there are a few people who bought it because they love Game of Thrones. Yeah. But it's probably not a huge margin. 2, is FromSoft just such a known quantity now? Have they finally gone out and said,
every game we make is going to be good?
Yeah, everything we make is good. We have a style. We are, you know what you're going to get. Similar to like a Rockstar kind of, where it's like, you know the type of game you're getting from Rockstar. You know the type of game you're getting from FromSoft. You know it's going to be quality. And anytime a game gets this much like Game of the Decade talk, it's going to sell great.
And I wonder if the memes, like the pre-release memes, didn't actually help it a little bit, in the sense that like the Where is Elden Ring that was happening for like a year and a half, like actually probably built up some hype. And I think the, immediate comparisons to games like Breath of the Wild probably helped it a fair amount.
Yeah, the fact that it's open world probably made it a little more accessible to some people.
And on that note, we rotate again back, this time to our story about PlayStation Spartacus.
Yes.
What we're going to do today is have the official Spartacus draft.
Yes.
And what's going to be funny is this is not going to age well in terms of titling, because it's definitely not going to be called Spartacus.
No.
But all we know at this point is that it is codename Spartacus.
Yeah. What was the PS4 codename? Because it was funny.
I don't remember.
I think it started with an O.
J. Simpson.
Yep. Project OJ.
The Juice. Project Juice. So what we're going to do is have a draft where we are going to select our best possible lineup for PlayStation Spartacus subscription service.
Orbis. That was the code name.
Orbis.
I remember that.
Spelled with a U or an I?
Oh, Orbis.
Yeah,
Sorry.
In the middle, not the beginning.
Urbis.
So, the rules of this draft that we're going to do.
Yeah.
It's a snake style draft, which the last time we did a draft on this show, it was snake style. But for those that are confused by the notion, snake style drafts are fairer because if one of us started and then we just alternated, the person who leads off would have an inherent advantage.
Would get the better pick of each round.
So the way we're going to do it is whoever starts off is going to pick one game, and then we're going to alternate 2, 2, 2, 2. So the next person gets their next 2 choices, then 2 choices. So it works out to be fairer.
Right. So basically, if you want to think of it in rounds, like if Jay starts, Jay gets the first pick in round 1, I would get the second pick in round 1, but I'd also get the first pick in round 2.
Yeah.
So that's why it's fair.
And whoever picks first is also going to pick last.
Yes.
So that also sort of speaks to its fairness.
Right.
Couple of other rules here. We're going to select 20 games.
Yep.
We're going to have a lineup of 20 games to lead off this subscription service. The rules for those games are as follows.
I love this.
No game that is already on PS Plus collection.
Yeah.
So none of those games that I'm going to pull up the list here before we get started. I'll actually pull that up and say, okay, these games are already going to be assumed to be on this service.
Yes.
And basically we're just adding to that list. The games that we choose must have either already released or be tentatively scheduled to be released this year in 2022. We're not going beyond because that's going to be really finicky. And there are certain games that might be scheduled for 2023 that might not come out until 2025.
Right.
You don't know.
Yeah.
But we're presuming at this point that most games that are scheduled for this year are going to come out this year.
And the reason we're doing this is it's totally possible if PlayStation does a showcase of some sort, they could adopt the Xbox thing of like available on Spartacus day 1.
100%.
So that's why we're doing this.
And there are a couple of games that they have due out this year that the hope is will be available day 1 on the service.
Yeah.
Now, only exclusion for that I said was sports franchises are okay.
Yeah.
So, and that's just a sense of like, we don't know that NBA 2K23 is coming out, but it is.
It is.
We don't know that Madden is coming, but it is.
Yeah.
So we're counting those games.
Yeah.
And then the goal is just to sell the subscription better. It's not like my dream lineup or your dream lineup.
Because we're going to steal from each other.
Exactly. So there we poaches galore.
Yeah.
But our bet is to create, or our guess, what we're trying to do is to create the better lineup that would sell more subscriptions to this service.
That reminds me, complete non sequitur for a second.
Go for it. We love it.
You saying poaches galore, it sounded like an 80s sci-fi villain. Like, oh no, it's poaches galore, or like a pirate villain or something.
I just thought that'd be something that like a Las Vegas breakfast buffet chef would say when they're making it's like Eggs Benedict Day. You know?
Yeah.
There's poaches galore.
Poaches galore sounds more like a stage dancer for some sort of cocktail bar. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage. Poaches galore. Anyway, it reminds me...
I'm not going to try to come up with something else. I started to and I gave up.
It reminds me of some of the awesome...
You're going after yourself?
Some of the awesome names in Horizon.
Oh.
Some of the name... Like, somebody's name is like... I don't remember exactly what it is, but it's like Thrall Crustbreaker or something like that. And I'm like, what is this name? All the names are great. And some of the insults are great, too. Chuff Huffer was one of them. And I was like, that's awesome. Anyway. Can I have another beer?
Yes.
How are we deciding who goes first, Jay?
Well, I believe the last time we did this, we just did good old-fashioned rock, paper, scissors.
I'm cool with it.
And then the winner gets to choose what they do.
Oh, if they go first or second.
Right.
All right.
So are we doing 1 or best out of 3?
You call it.
Best out of 3 seems always the fairest.
Okay.
All right. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Tie with scissors.
Yeah. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. All right.
All right, you beat me
I won
once.
with scissors. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. You won
we're
with
all tied
scissors. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Scissors tie. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
All right.
I win with rock.
So you choose.
Man. It's actually tough.
It's tough because...
Do you want 1 or 2 and 3?
And because the rationale is maybe you've got, and I already sort of told you this, I've got a couple of games that like, if I only have one of them, it's almost useless.
Oh,
there's a couple of games that I'm trying to get like in
a collection.
Sets.
Yeah.
Now, if I get one and then you poach me, then I'm screwed. But you know, it happens.
Huh.
There's very few of mine that are like that, but there is some added value there.
I'm gonna give you 1.
All right, so be it. Well then, at this moment, I'm on the clock.
Yeah.
So, how could you not pick God of War first?
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to do.
That's what I had ranked number 1
God
as
of
well.
War Ragnarok is going to be my first choice. It is the follow-up to an arguable game of the decade contender.
Yes.
My personal top third ranked game of all time. So yes, this is a personal choice for me.
Sure.
But this game is going to sell consoles.
Yes, it
on
is.
its own.
It absolutely is.
And the idea that you could get it for de facto free from a subscription service is going to sell subscriptions. If it can sell a PS5, it can sell a $10 a month ish subscription. So
God of War Ragnarok is going to be for Spartacus, whatever it ends up being called, what like Halo is for Game Pass.
Yeah.
Where so many people are like, I'll get Game Pass for 3 months and play Halo. That's cheaper than just buying Halo.
Yeah.
And I get to play all these games. So I absolutely agree with you there. I think it's
the
consensus
inarguable
number
choice.
one. Yeah. With my second pick, I'm going to take Elden Ring.
Fuck you.
I think that is the obvious second choice because PlayStation has a long history with FromSoft.
Yeah.
Bloodborne is already in the PlayStation Plus collection.
Let me pull that up just to refresh, but go ahead.
Yes. There is just obviously this game is selling like crazy. I do think that you have sold a lot of the copies of that game you're going to sell right now. Obviously those games have long tails, but that long tail, that sort of hype that people get from hearing Elden Ring will benefit your subscription service quite a bit.
Yeah. All right. So games that are currently on the PS Plus collection, just so we're refreshed.
Yeah.
Batman Arkham Knight, Battlefield 1,
There's some weird
Bloodborne.
ones.
There is some weird ones. Call of Duty Black Ops 3 Zombies Chronicles.
What?
I know.
What?
Crash Bandicoot, the Insane Trilogy.
Yep.
Days Gone, Detroit Become Human, Fallout 4, Final Fantasy 15, God of War 1,
Yep.
Infamous Second Son, The Last Guardian, The Last of Us Remastered, Monster Hunter World, Mortal Kombat X, Persona 5, Ratchet and Clank, the first one,
Yep.
Resident Evil 7, Uncharted 4, and Until Dawn. Those are the games that are off limits. We're assuming they're going to be there.
Yeah, which is also a great just starting pack for a PS5 anyway.
Which that's what we were thinking when they announced that. I was like, oh yeah, that's cool.
In relation, assuming that one of those games is in there and will stay in there, my third pick 3, my second selection is The Last of Us Part 2.
Damn it!
I think that TLAO 2, again, one of the best games of the last few years. People have debated a lot on how good it is, but I think the consensus is that it's at least really good. And again, this is one of those, I try to think back to, a lot of times I will talk about PS5 games coming out or something on stream, and somebody will be like, oh yeah, I can't wait to get a PS5 to play that. Or even more often I hear, I didn't have a PS4, so I'm trying to get a PS5 to play catch up.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you're going to play catch up,
you gotta.
One of the ones you have to play is Last of Us 2. So,
man, that sucked because that's a game that for all we know is going to have a long tail because you've got an HBO show coming out.
Sure.
A presumed multiplayer, maybe standalone follow-up coming out. So,
yeah, which could be in this collection and would be smart to be, but we don't have a date on that, so we can't pick it.
All right. So we're back to me.
These are going to hurt.
I don't know, because there's several directions that I want to go.
Yes.
Because I've got your slam dunk. I've got one slam dunk first party game.
Okay.
So it's like, do I want to go third party? Do I want to go other first party like standouts?
Yep.
You know what? We got a lot of picks.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and take a slam dunk. Game that is almost assured to have a third is Horizon.
Oh.
I'm going to go ahead and take Horizon.
Makes sense.
Especially with the recency. There's still a lot of people who have not played Horizon who might buy it in the future.
Yep.
So that just seems like an easy pick right now. First party slam dunk. Horizon Forbidden West. All right. I'm writing these down as I go. I'm creating my list. So now I've got my third.
Oh, I can strike through text. Cool. Just eliminating the ones you pick.
And now this, because I had no game that had a correlation with Horizon 2, so that was a solo pick.
Yeah.
So now I got to think. Here's my thought. This is a game that is exclusive.
Okay.
But also capitalizes on the current FromSoft fervor.
Okay.
And that is Demon Souls, the remake. I'm going to go there. Because I don't think it's, putting games like God of War and Horizon makes sense because they're first party.
Sure.
You expect there to be big first party games. But if they don't have Elden Ring, people aren't going to be up in arms because Elden Ring isn't on this service.
Yeah.
But to sort of capitalize on that cultural phenomenon of
Sure.
FromSoft.
You liked Elden Ring? Well, you're going to love
Demon Souls.
Yeah.
So that seems like a logical pick.
Okay. My next pick. My third pick whatever number it is now. 6? 5?
Yeah, I've got
6.
3. Oh, you talking overall or for you?
Overall.
I'm not going to try to keep track of that.
It's 6th pick overall, but third game. It's tricky.
It is.
I'm going to go with another game that I think... While it may not be a system seller, because it is on another platform, I think a lot of people who own a PS5 would at least be curious to try this game out and could entice them to get the subscription. I'm taking Death Stranding.
Oh.
Because you have a lot of those people who love Kojima and really want to try this game out, or, you would try it if it was
fall
free.
Into this category.
Yeah,
absolutely.
exactly. It's a curious enough thing that I think it really bolsters your roster.
You're right, because it's good to if you're trying to hit a variety of types of gamers.
That's kind of my idea. Is I want to appeal to everybody at least a little bit.
Yeah, that is a niche that is hard to fill, except by Hideo Kojima.
Yes. Now for my next pick. I feel like a magician.
I know exactly where I'm going next, so I hope you don't go there.
I'm gonna I'm gonna go for just trying to provide bang for buck, just incredible game, long playtime if you want it. I'm gonna take Red Dead 2.
I thought this is a good choice.
Rockstar and Sony have a relationship. They were going to make that agent game together and never did, but it seems like every time we get a Rockstar announcement, it's at a Sony thing now. I think this game is old enough that, because it's 4 years old now? Yeah, 2018, right?
Was it 18 or 19?
Was it 19?
No, it would have been 18 because I think.
Anyway, whenever it came out. It's a little bit older now. I think, again, it's another case of you've probably sold...
Same year as God of War. 2018.
That's right. God, what a year.
I know.
You've probably sold to most people who are going to buy it, but there's still an online component you could get from it. Like I said, tons of hours of gameplay. You could just tout spending hundreds of hours in Red Dead 2 and that being worth the subscription price.
For sure.
Pretty happy with Red Dead 2 there.
All right. Now, me saying I know exactly where I'm going to go is this is... I'm going to say my pitch for what they should do here.
Okay.
They're not going to do this full bore.
Okay.
But here's what they should do.
All right.
They should say Destiny 2 The Witch Queen expansion.
Damn it.
Yeah.
I have this.
Is going to be, on our subscription service. And what they should say is if you buy our subscription service, henceforth, all Destiny 2 expansions will be included.
Yeah, I have it just listed as Destiny 2 expansions.
Yeah, that's just a slam dunk and makes sense for their new partnership with Bungie.
Yep.
But even if it's just the Witch Queen as a way to get people back into Destiny 2, that's going to reap a lot of rewards.
Yeah.
So that was one of mine that I have my eye on.
It's a good pick.
So let me get rid of that here. And that's another one that I didn't have necessarily a tie to a second game for. So now I can go any direction. I think I gotta go. Yeah. I think I gotta go with Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart.
Okay. Yeah, it was on my list, obviously.
To sort of carve out that youth-friendly game niche.
Yep.
You gotta have a game like it, especially on a service like this. So, that game got pretty much universal praise and was, from my understanding, uncomplicated because it was more linear.
Yeah.
So it seemed very approachable. And obviously Ratchet and Clank 1 is on the Plus collection, so now to fold both of those games in there, I think it just makes sense.
Another one, I loved the first Ratchet and Clank. Could never find myself willing to spend $70 on it because I'm like, that game is going to go on sale at some point. Still hasn't really gone on sale almost a year from its release date. So they obviously see a lot of value in that game, but hopefully that value would be transferred into the subscription service. All right, for my next pick... So I'm going to take a game that is surprisingly not in the Plus collection, and I'm going to take the Nathan Drake collection.
Okay.
Because Uncharted 4 is.
Okay.
And I don't see why you wouldn't just go ahead and say, play them all. Play all the Uncharted games. This movie just came out. There's new interest in the franchise. Obviously you can't play Lost Legacy with this collection yet unless you want to add it. But I could totally see that actually being one of their marketing rollout things.
Also, and this I was thinking about this earlier.
Yeah.
So Uncharted 4 is in the Plus collection.
Yes.
If you have Uncharted 4, you can get the Legacy of Thieves collection for $10.
Sure. Oh, I see what you mean.
So can't you just get it for free from the collection?
Yeah,
and then upgrade
possibly
for $10? Do that if you have it.
Totally. So yeah, like I said, I mean, Uncharted, one of the landmark PlayStation series.
Yeah.
I would not be shocked if there's a commercial that's like, play every Uncharted game on PlayStation Spartacus or whatever.
Yeah, that would be really smart.
Especially with the hype of the movie, which seems to have done pretty well.
Oh yeah, it did well. Maybe regrettably.
Next up, see, here's the tricky thing. There are games that I want that I don't think you'll say.
Sure.
And then there are games that I want that I think you'll say.
So you got to get them.
I know. All right, I'm gonna do it. Give me Spider-Man Miles Morales.
You bitch.
This is sort of that. I mean, we know this game's old gangbusters. This was probably the leading game for the holiday the PS5 first came out, especially for your 8 to 15 market. Yeah. I think that's a really valuable market. People who play Spider-Man in Fortnite, or kids who play Spider-Man in Fortnite.
Excuse me, that was me 3 years ago. So let's just calm down there, buddy.
But I mean, this makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah,
that IP has sold a lot already. Everybody's going to get hype on the ability to play a Spider-Man game. Is the first one on the collection?
No.
It's not. Oh, interesting. Well, you can play Miles Morales.
Yeah. And that was the one I listed Miles Morales just because it was a PS5 launch game that was just, and it sold well. It continues to sell well, and it's an eyeball grabber, especially with the sequel Inbound. So
yes,
was that both yours? Yeah,
those are both mine.
Okay, so now I got two. I don't know where to go. There is one pool, a subset of games that I haven't tapped into yet that I really want to, but I think I should save.
Okay.
Okay. But because see now, and I was thinking about Miles Morales, but I'm also thinking about Spider-Man. Just one, because it's not on the collection.
No.
Yeah, I have to.
Because makes sense.
With the imminent, Spider-Man 2, the video game, not eligible for this because reported release date is just 2023.
Yeah.
So it is not going to be a part of this, but to have at least one, and it would not surprise me if both of these games were available on the service, but at least one is going to have a lot of marketing value leading up to the next one.
Yeah.
So I got to have one of them. So from there, here I have to go for the casuals.
Oh.
A little bit.
Okay.
I'm taking MLB The Show.
Yeah, I had it. Obviously.
The best, it's the only major sports game that is first party. And now it's going to be available on Xbox for the next iteration.
Yeah.
But still, this is PlayStation's chance to be like, oh, you could pay for it on Xbox, but you'll get it for free here.
But it's on Game Pass on Xbox,
Oh,
isn't
it is on Game Pass.
Yeah.
All right.
So you have to have it.
you got to tie it.
Yeah, you
That's
have
true.
to have
You have to have it. So that was Spider-Man and MLB The Show.
Two very strong, very big name properties. All right. I'm going to go... I'm going to go the other way. You went to the casuals.
You're going to the hardcores?
I'm going to the hardcores.
All right, fair enough.
Give me Returnal.
I have Returnal on my list, and it was not high up on my priority list.
Sure.
But it was on there.
Because I think that's one of those games that kind of like Ratchet, kind of like a couple other games I'm sure we'll say. Now, you and I both played it. It was your game of the year last year. It was my second favorite game of the year last year. We bought it day one, but I think that's one of those games that had enough fervor, but people maybe didn't buy, of just I'll try it when it's on sale, or I'll try it later. Especially with the multiplayer update that just came out, people may have a new interest in it now that they can play it with friends. I know a couple buddies, or one buddy of mine who has struggled, loves the FromSoft games, is way better at those than I am, can't beat the first boss in Returnal.
Interesting.
Yeah, so he was like, I was like, do you want me to just come into your game and help you beat it? And he's like, yeah, that'd be awesome.
Oh yeah, especially with the new co-op stuff.
Yeah, so that could be a really fun thing, especially, anytime a multiplayer game goes on one of these services, it's smart because more people have access to it. There's going to be a larger player base. With my next pick, which I think is pick 8 for me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
What's he gonna do, folks?
What am I gonna do?
Lots of big hitters still on the board.
Give me Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah.
Again,
I'm assuming the director's cut.
Yeah, director's cut. Yeah, the PS5 version. Again, if you want to tout the hardware of PS5, I think a common complaint that I hear about PS5 a lot is that there just aren't a lot of PS5 games, and that's kind of true still. But there have been a few marquee games that have been up-resed for PS5.
And that one you could fool anyone into thinking was native to PS5.
Yeah, and wasn't it the last big PS4 game?
One of them.
It was that and Last of Us 2, right?
Yeah, they were like back-to-back in the summer.
Yeah, so obviously people maybe didn't have a chance to play that and got the PS5 but couldn't go back, or they could have gone back, but maybe they didn't. Maybe they wanted to play something else. I think it's a good opportunity to play a really, really good game.
Honestly, if you put a gun to my head and said, tell me the first party game that you're willing to bet is going to be on this service, it's probably Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, makes a ton of sense.
Like, it's a game that doesn't have the same cultural cachet as a God of War or certain other games, but it's just so rock solid good.
Yeah.
And will sell the sequel because there's going to be a sequel.
Yeah.
That's a just solid choice. Oh, Lord. All right. So I've got 7 games so far.
This is fun.
And I was just looking. So my MLB The Show is it's like the next MLB The Show.
Sure.
So like whatever, like MLB The Show 2023.
Yeah. Well, 22 just came out.
Or okay, 2022
yeah,
then.
because they release in the spring.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. I don't play them. So.
No, I don't either, but I know it just came out not too long ago.
So I have the most. Actually, that bolsters my point, which is that only one of my games so far is a game that has not come out yet.
Okay.
So I'm wondering,
I don't know
when do I go to the well of games that aren't even out yet?
Yeah, I've not taken any games that aren't out yet. These would all be day ones.
Yeah. You know what? And this both counts for what I just said and doesn't count for what I just said.
Okay.
Because it is a forthcoming PS5 up-res of a game.
Okay.
And that's the GTA 5 up-res.
Oh.
So GTA 5 on PS5.
That's a good shout. That's a really good shout.
There is no game that has more cultural cachet than Grand Theft Auto 5. And there's plenty of people like myself who are sort of waiting for... I'm not going to drop a bunch of money to play that game again, but if I got it in something like this, I absolutely
download
will.
it in a heartbeat, yeah.
So I think
really
that's a slam dunk for marketing.
Yeah, totally.
And then, so now we've hit, you know what? I'm going to do this. Because here's what I have this is in my back pocket.
Okay.
And you know what? I'm stabbing myself in the back with this choice. And it goes hand in hand with my last choice because it's another game that's about to be up-resed on PS5.
Okay.
The Witcher 3.
Oh, wow. I had it. I saw it and didn't
The Witcher 3 on PS5 is supposed to come out later this year.
Later.
I meant to say late this year, but later this year.
Yeah.
And they just announced that a new Witcher game is in development.
Yeah.
So that seems like another game that is just building hype for the next one.
That's a really solid call.
So that was my 8 and 9.
All right. I'm gonna sort of spread the wealth around a little bit.
Okay.
And not just do hardcore gamer stuff now because I've done that at least for this next pick. I think a game that could really pull in some people that you would be surprised by is Gran Turismo 7. So I'm going to take it.
That was certainly on my list.
Because you got the show, I need some sort of sports game. Obviously, I can do 2K, I can do Madden if I want. But I think Gran Turismo 7 is one of those games, much like the fact that you and I both played Forza on Game Pass.
Yeah.
I think I would not buy Gran Turismo 7, but if it's on a service, I might download it because racing games are kind of fun.
Yep.
My next pick... Do I save it? That's the thing.
Do you? I don't know if you do. You seem to be thinking about it.
I am thinking about it. You know what? No, I'm going to lock down. I have Elden Ring is the highest Metacritic rated game on PS5 currently.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
The second highest rated Metacritic game on PS5 is my next pick, which is Hades. It's on Game Pass already. I think they're cool to take any, like, they have always, Supergiant has always been down with, like, being a Plus game, being a Game Pass game. They are like, let's do it.
Yeah.
Hades has been out long enough. I think you got a lot of people to buy it. And talk about something that just bolsters your roster in a way that a lot of these other games don't. I think Hades appeals to a different type of gamer maybe than like a Ghost of Tsushima or Red Dead 2. So,
yeah.
Spreading the wealth.
All right. So my 10th and 11th games. Man. I think to sell this subscription service, you have to hit the casuals hard.
Totally.
So, I'm going to do that one more time.
Okay.
And I'll take Madden.
Okay. Fair enough. It's on Game Pass.
Yeah, so and I was thinking about that too. I was like, there's your counter. And I was like, oh, you can get Madden for free on Xbox. Well, now you can get it for free on PlayStation.
Yeah.
Free, quote unquote. Like an all-inclusive resort. You still got to pay for it. I'm not going to take 2K. I think the show and Madden is enough.
Yeah.
Especially when I also have GTA 5. So
yes,
as casual as casual gets for that, or as broadly appealing. I don't like to use the word casual as like derogatory.
Sure, no. But you mean the broader
the most
market
commercial.
Who's not listening to this podcast.
Shout out to you. So for my next game, let's just I'm gonna take.
I just thought of another game.
For this, I'm gonna take Sekiro.
Okay, I had it. Yeah, I was
Sekiro.
like, do I do any more FromSoft?
Because that gives me Demon Souls and Sekiro.
Yeah.
the
And
two most
Bloodborne's already
recent.
there.
So that gives you the non-Dark Souls, the three most recent FromSoft games aside from Dark Souls 3.
Yeah.
So the non-Dark Souls games.
Okay, I'm going to strike out Sekiro. Oh, I need to strike out Madden as well. I like how seriously we're taking this. It's pretty fun.
And I've still got ones that I'm going to be mad if you take.
I'm going to take... We're talking about casuals.
Oh, yeah.
There is not a game more casual than Among Us.
I started to
put
putting
Among Us on the service.
Here's the only reason why I didn't really want to include Among Us, because it's so damn cheap anyway. It's like $5.
I know, but if it's one of the extra games you could get,
yeah, it's free $5.
Might be a fun trophy game. So I'm gonna take Among Us, appeal to the children.
You're gonna laugh at the next game I take, assuming that you don't take it first. And you're not gonna laugh at the game. You're gonna laugh at my reasoning.
Give me. I started that sentence and didn't know where I was going with it.
It's just like it's like 6 ellipses now. Now we're at 8.
Give me Resident Evil 8.
Ooh yeah.
Another game that is just highly touted. Another top.
That's true. I don't have. Ooh, maybe
top
I should take
10
a horror game.
Top 10 Metacritic game on PS5. I want to say. It's definitely up there, and it has a diehard audience. Another game that I may not purchase, but would try given the chance. And yeah, I think it's a solid pick.
Okay. So now we're on. Let's see, we're starting on my 12th game, and I have to make sure that I'm setting this up right because I know. Dang, hang on. I need to look something up in 15 seconds.
Yeah, you're good. I was just gonna say this has become even more intense as it's gone on. I think.
Yeah.
Because at the start it's like, oh, we have so many good games, and now it's like, oh, am I gonna get this game? I don't know.
Oh wait, no, you screwed me.
I did?
I can't do that. Well, I could do what I'm about to do, but I would lose my fun reasoning for why I was going to do it. Kinda.
Okay.
So do I still do it?
If you do, I want to know what your fun reasoning was and what I stole from you.
Yeah. I still kind of want to, because it still fits and it still would sort of diversify my lineup.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got enough big games that I can take a smaller one.
Sure.
And that smaller one is It Takes Two.
Damn it! That was one of my next picks.
Now, here's going to be the reason why.
I should have taken it earlier.
I wanted It Takes Two, The Last of Us Part 2, and Sekiro, because that's the last 3 Game of the Year award winner games.
Oh, that's pretty good, actually. That's a good,
because that's a stupid little marketing thing. Oh, we've got the last 3 Game of the Year at the Game Award games.
Damn it.
But now I've just got 2019 and 2021.
Because it's on Game Pass. It makes sense because that's one of those games that you need a partner for.
So.
That's a really good pick. That was literally going to be one of my next picks.
Yeah.
Good call.
So from there.
Good take.
Now it's just wide open.
Yeah, it is.
This is already a sellable subscription service. So now I'm just trying to find some interesting choices. And let's see, I've hit the, a younger enough audience with It Takes Two and Rift Apart. So
Sackboy, you got Sackboy. You can take Sackboy. I
don't want Sackboy.
You can take Sackboy, man. Want it. It's right there.
There's a game. If I'm gonna go that kind of route, I know which game I'm gonna take.
Knack
but maybe
2?
I'm just not gonna do it yet.
Pull the trigger on Knack 2?
No.
I'm more of a Knack 1 guy.
You know what?
Sackboy?
Sackboy's fucked up. And that's my choice. Those 4 letters. Sifu.
All right. That's a good call. That's a good one. I forgot about Sifu.
There you go. That was for all you acronym fans out there.
Please, they're called the AF.
AF. So that's one that's like a well-reviewed recent game that a lot of people have not purchased.
Yep, good call.
So it's like,
it's a really good one.
It's a game that a lot of people would play if they had the chance, but don't want to drop $50 on.
Should have taken Sackboy.
You take it, you coward.
Nah, man, I'm good. You coward. All right.
There's 2 things that are fun to call people these days: cowards and fools.
Yes.
I love calling somebody a fool.
Butthead's pretty good, too.
Oh, gosh.
All right, this game has fallen too far. Give me Hollow Knight. I feel like that's just one of those games
that's another Game Pass game.
Yeah, bolsters your roster, different kind of audience than your normal thing. I mean, even someone like you, where that's not your normal game, you really dug Hollow Knight.
Yeah, loved it.
Could appeal to more people. All right, I'm gonna go outside the box a little bit. Give me Jackbox Party Pack 8.
Nice.
I think that's another game that could just appeal to a little bit of a different market.
That's true.
And you know how much we play Jackbox.
I hadn't thought of that. That's a really good pick.
We're not the only group of friends that plays a lot of Jackbox, and buying a $25 game every year can be a little daunting, or every 6 months. So would be down to get that for free.
I said I'd know where I'm going next, but now I'm trigger shy.
Sackboy? It's gonna get old something.
It might be the most polar opposite of Sackboy as it could get.
Sackman. Metal Man.
Shut up.
Look, I'm trying to make people laugh, man.
I'm taking Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Damn it, I had that on my list too. I assume you're doing the retrograde one, the one that's on PS5.
Yeah. Yeah, Final Fantasy VII, for all the weebs. Good on you.
For all the weebs.
Final Fantasy VII Remake. That is a game that, that's especially a game that I'm never playing unless it's free.
Sure. Yeah.
Then, let me get rid of that here. I've hit almost every demographic of fandom.
Yeah, we really have spread it out pretty well.
So it's like you could either go left turns or right turns.
Those are 2 directions.
And there's a game that is on here that is a very obvious, a somewhat obvious choice.
Okay.
I just don't know if I'm not passionate about it.
Okay.
So I don't know if I should do it.
All right.
So instead, I'm going to do what I was about to do last. Oh, but am I?
You
know what? Screw that.
Of...
This is a weird one that I thought of. And was like, in terms of literal genre of game,
yep,
would diversify. I do not have a game like this on the list.
Okay.
Marvel's Midnight Suns
Oh, the XCOM
the
game.
XCOM style. Maybe it's just because that trailer was rad as hell.
It was, and you're never going to play the game.
And I will never play it unless it's on
unless
here.
It's free.
So maybe this is a little bit of wish fulfillment.
That's a good one. I forgot.
Marvel's Midnight Suns.
Completely forgot that game was coming out.
Gives me a good strategy game. So.
Okay.
Right, that was my 15th choice.
Kind of makes me want to just take Civ 6, but instead, you want to get games that got Game of the Year? Give me Deathloop.
Yeah. That was one of my ones I was debating on that last round.
It's unlikely, but not impossible because it is a PlayStation exclusive.
Yeah.
I think we've both kind of shied away from like Bethesda games because the odds that Xbox is going to allow them to be on PlayStation service are probably pretty low, but
sure.
I think it's definitely possible. And then, man, I think it's time. I'm going to take 2K. I need a sports game. I think the NBA games are probably the most well-reviewed consistently of sports games.
No, yeah.
Well, the show is pretty well-reviewed
Those
usually,
two.
too. But, I mean, 2K has a huge fan base, and could you imagine saying, hey, kid who just got this PS5 for Christmas who likes basketball, here's Miles Morales, here's Among Us, here's NBA 2K23. It's a pretty good start.
Man, oh man.
How many picks do we have left?
I have 5.
1, 2.
So two rounds and then one.
So I have 4 left?
Yes.
Okay.
Huh. You know, the AAA scene is well represented on my list.
Uh-huh.
And I could dip into the
Sack Boys of the
less
world.
A's. Okay, hold on. Well, this might be how many A's is Sackboy?
Double?
You think?
Because they're
You
not...
think Little Big Planet was double A?
No, Little Big Planet was AAA.
So you think this was actually like a more... I don't know.
I think
I don't even know what to
so.
call it.
I think it's probably a... Actually, yeah, I don't know. How do you define that? Money? Is it just money? Put into it?
But I mean, is
Like
every first-party game AAA?
I don't think so.
I don't think so
Like
either.
Resogun wasn't AAA.
No, that's true. But wait, well, they weren't...
They weren't first party then.
It's
That's a good
Returnal
point.
AAA.
Yes.
Okay. No, yeah.
All right, anyway.
So, you know what? Here's the game
Okay.
that disproves what I just said, but maybe not because I don't remember who developed it. Kenna Bridge of Spirits.
Oh, yeah. Forgot about that game.
Yeah, me too. Didn't
I'd
play
play it if it was free.
Me too. Yep.
It's a solid argument.
Don't remember who made it, if it was first party, but it's
what was the
definitely
name of
not
that studio?
AAA.
No, it's not. I don't think they were first party. I think they were an outside studio. Because I think this was their first game. Because they were an animation studio before this.
Well, that makes sense.
I think that's what they did, and this was their first video game.
All right, so I got one more here.
Oh, sorry, I almost jumped again.
Macaroni with the chicken strips.
I thought you said tenders. That's why I balked on the word strip.
I thought he said tenders.
Balked a little bit there.
I guess I should do this, even though I'm not passionate about it.
Okay.
Gotham Knights.
Yep, it's on my list. Makes
Gotham
sense.
Knights.
Again, another game I'd play if it's free.
I've got Spider-Man. Now I got kinda Batman.
Batman adjacent.
Yeah.
If Suicide Squad was going to come out this year, it would have been much higher on both of our lists, I would say.
For sure.
All right. You know what? I don't have a game for the weebs.
You gotta weeb it up.
So give me... Oh.
Weeb it up!
Weeb it up! I just picture like...
Weeb it up!
Like-
Weeb it!
I pictured some like dad at like a Pop Warner football game. Like trying to inspire his kid who loves anime.
Last name Webster. Be
Oh,
like,
there you go.
Hello, Web.
Weeb it up!
Weeb it up! Go weeb it up!
Whip it up. So Persona 5 is already on the list.
Right.
I could take Persona 5 Royale. I do have it here.
Good.
I think that's kind of redundant.
Okay.
Give me Nier Automata.
Ah.
I feel like that's a game for the weebs.
That's a game that, like,
And I would try it out if it was free.
me too, because I still can't really tell you what it is.
I know what it is, and I still can't tell you what it is. That game is like 15 different games.
Yeah.
And then... give me So I have 3 games left. And you decide what those 3 games are, and then the order I'm going to pick them in. Oh. Okay, I know what my last game I'm picking is.
Unless I steal it.
Unless you snatch it. I don't think you're going to take it. Give me Hitman 3.
Yeah, Hitman 3 is definitely on my list.
I don't think I have a shooter. No, well, I have Red Dead 2.
It's still.
And Last of Us 2. I have a lot of like shooter adjacent. Oh, I have Deathloop. Never mind.
There you go.
I do have a shooter, but as far as and Returnal. I guess I have more shooters than I thought. But as far as like, I don't really have a stealth game, and Hitman is kind of its own franchise anyway. I think Hitman is another one of those franchises of like, you would definitely play it if it's free. If you haven't, yeah. Like it has enough acclaim. You and I have sung the praises of that game almost nonstop since it came out. So another just solid addition.
So, I feel like at least with this round, you got to think about the sizzle reel.
Okay, yeah. I like where your head's at.
You know, I've gotten a lot of realistic looking games, or like, you know, AAA big, you know, 3D animation kind of games.
Sure.
I think in a sizzle reel, you need something to break up the monotony.
Yeah.
And I've got a few options where I could go here. But the one that speaks to me the most is probably Celeste. So I think that's where I'm going to go.
Another one of the top 10 Metacritic PS4 games of all time.
So like, you know, I don't really have a platformer on my list.
It's on my list too.
So that's one game that like you play that, you don't need to play many other platformers.
Yeah.
It's that damn good.
It scratches the itch.
And then
game's also deep as fuck.
Yeah. There's another game on here that I think is pretty much a slam dunk, kinda, but it's another one that I'm not very passionate about.
Okay.
But I think I'm gonna do it anyway. Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga.
Oh wow. Okay.
Because that's gonna be
not on my list
in terms of depth and like playtime, probably going to be a surprisingly huge game.
Yeah, good point.
And another game that appeals to a younger audience and a lot of older, like people who played the Lego games growing up. Like this might be the biggest Lego game ever.
Sure.
So got to go with it. Lego. I'm going to abbreviate this. SWT the S Skywalker. The SWTSS.
The AFs are going to love that.
They are. All right. You got your
my last
round of
picks.
2, and then I get one more.
You get to send the hammer home, Daryl Isaacs. All right. A type of game that neither of us have even touched.
Oh.
Give me Mortal Kombat 11.
Yeah, I thought about a fighting game.
I thought about either that or Guilty Gear. I don't know if Guilty Gear's on PlayStation. That's kind of maybe it is, and would be a good shout, but Mortal Kombat 10 is on the Plus collection. Makes sense that they would have 11. And another one of those games, I would play it if it was free. Not going to buy it at this point, but I'd pay it or play it if it was free. And the last one, there are other games of possibly higher quality I could take, but I have been proselytizing that Dreams should come to PlayStation Plus for years now.
You're right.
Give me Dreams as my last game.
You're right.
That is the only way that game works. If people can play it for quote unquote free, you're going to see a boom of players. You're going to see a boom of people
creators
developing stuff for it. I think that's what that game needs. And Media Molecule is obviously still supporting it. They do those MP awards like every year or 6 months or whatever. Like they still obviously have enough of a community to keep going, and like they haven't been closed yet, thank goodness. Because I love Media Molecule, and I was terrified that depending on the performance of this game, that would happen. So I think this would be a huge boost to that game, and it's really cool. I just think more people need to experience it.
Yeah, you're dead on. That's a good pick. I hadn't even thought about Dreams.
Thanks. I'm done.
But now maybe it speaks to the fact that I haven't thought about Dreams, and it might not should be on my list.
Yeah, most people haven't. I love Media Molecule, man.
So okay, so now, you know, the gloves are off. Your list is done.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you what, among the list that I made, I'm going to tell you my contenders.
Okay.
And which one then I'll choose among them.
Sure.
Because I've got a few more like indie style games. I've got Disco Elysium on here.
Yep, that's on my list as well.
Another rock solid indie game.
Uh-huh.
The Witness.
Yep.
Another one, but
great game.
I sort of have a lingering resentment towards The Witness.
Why?
Just because it's like, oh, you're hard.
You're hard. I platinum that game.
And I also, I'll circle back to the last one. I have Dark Souls Remastered.
Oh, interesting.
So then I would have a toe dipped in Dark Souls.
Yeah.
Toe dipped. I've got Sekiro. You'd have Bloodborne.
Yeah.
If I would be okay with having everything except Dark Souls 2.
Yeah.
But I don't think I'm going to do that because I think Sekiro and Demon Souls are more than enough in that regard in terms of from like Souls likes.
Sure.
The other game that I put on here and that I'm tempted to take because it sort of shows, and yeah, you know what, screw it, I'm going to take it. Shows like a long-term commitment to sort of exclusive indie games.
Okay.
Sort of like Xbox Arcade was sort of a reputational thing for a while. Like
yeah,
we support
totally.
indie games. Goodbye Volcano High.
What is this?
You don't remember this?
No.
This was I want to say it was at the PS5 reveal.
Wait, is this the Oxenfree style game?
I think so.
It's like side-scrolling and it's... Oh, it's like the furries. Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
It's more like a visual novel
but it looks like... Yeah. I remember this game, yeah. Sorry, not the furries, so but it's like, that art style.
No, it's like anthropomorphic characters.
Like, I remember this. Good pick. I forgot about it. It was
just weirdly high profile at an event like that.
Yeah, and it looked cool.
The art style was cool. Not my kind of game, but I like see it and I'm like, this is, again, for the sizzle reel, it doesn't get much, more diversified than including a game like this.
Yeah. I like that pick a lot.
And it just sort of, wow, hold on. I just did a Freudian slip on writing this down that I can't even talk about because it would be an Elden Ring spoiler.
Ah, damn it. I was going to say, can you show me? Screenshot it.
It would be a very, okay.
And then you can show me like 2 months from now.
That's really funny that I did that. Anyway, narrative game, minimal gameplay, accessible, different, artsy, good to diversify. So
yeah.
I think it's a solid choice.
I like their logo too. Do you want to hear the other games I had on my list?
Yeah, I am curious what else you had.
Ghostwire Tokyo.
Yeah, but I was like, nah.
Saints Row. Thought
about it. Not sure that game. Honestly, my guess is that game might not even be good.
Yeah, it could be totally just whatever. Forspoken, same kind of hesitation. Yep. Persona 5 Royal mentioned it. Ni no Kuni 1 and 2. Could those have a PlayStation reputation? I could see those being on there, but I didn't want to use 2 picks on it. Moonlighter, just because I love that game. Stanley Parable Deluxe Edition, which is coming out later this year. Cuphead. Sackboy as a joke.
Sure.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Yeah.
And Control were my other list.
So you want to one time go back through quickly your list?
Go ahead.
I'll go first. So my Spartacus lineup from this draft would be God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Demon Souls, The Witch Queen, the Destiny expansion, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, Spider-Man PS4. Mm-hmm. I'm presuming the remastered version there.
Sure.
MLB The Show, GTA 5, the PS5 re-release, The Witcher 3, the PS5 re-release, Madden, Sekiro, It Takes Two, Sifu,
such a good pick,
Final Fantasy VII Remake, the PS5 re-release, Marvel's Midnight Suns, Kenna Bridge of Spirits, Gotham Knights, Celeste, Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga, and Goodbye Volcano High.
It's a good variety of stuff, man.
I'd pay for that.
Yeah, I would too, in a heartbeat. And here's my list, not in the order I picked them, but the order that I listed them, because I just made them checkboxes. Elden Ring, Last of Us Part 2, Red Dead 2, Death Stranding, Deathloop. Got all the Death's game covered. I almost put Death's Door on here too. Nathan Drake Collection, Hollow Knight, Gran Turismo 7, Dreams, Spider-Man Miles Morales, Nier Automata, Resident Evil 8, Jackbox 8, Hades, Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut, Returnal, NBA 2K23, Mortal Kombat 11, Hitman 3, Among Us.
I'd pay a little less for that. But, maybe I'm biased.
We'll let people pick. Tell us in the comments which one you like more.
And here's my regrettable prediction: is that the actual lineup itself will not be as good as either one you just heard.
No, there's no way.
A men can dream.
Yeah. me thinks, me breathe, me last, me fears.
What did you just say? Where did that come
It's a
from?
Grand Budapest quote.
Oh, okay.
A men can dream made me think of that poetic. Me thinks, me breathed, me last, me fears.
So is the Grand Budapest Hotel your recommendation?
Budapest? Oh God, you're right. I have to have a recommendation.
And
All right.
we've both basically just been playing one game for the last like couple weeks. So
That's true. Yeah, I'm gonna recommend Horizon. I haven't done it yet. It's
and I haven't either. So
it's
one
good.
of us has to.
Yeah, it's good enough that I'm really enjoying it. I know Elden Ring has all the fervor right now, but when you get a chance, play it. Especially if you have PS5, it looks amazing. Probably the best looking game on PS5 now. At least it's up there.
I almost wonder, now that I think about it, I almost wonder if they won't just sacrifice Horizon as the marquee game for this, just because they know it just got cannibalized. So it's like, I know you haven't bought it yet. You've been playing Elden Ring, but
Yeah,
here you can get
you can
it as
get
part
this-
of this subscription
Yeah,
service.
that's not a bad- that's not
that
a
might
bad
be a
call.
good logical leap.
Yeah,
But yeah,
but play Horizon. It's great.
my recommendation is Elden Ring TikTok.
Okay.
Now, for a couple of reasons. Because I just showed you one that was kind of funny.
Yeah.
Surprisingly good place to get ideas for builds for your character.
Yeah.
I've seen tons of like, hey, or like guides to certain weapon locations, guides to like, oh, you want to circumvent this area, here's a little shortcut.
Yeah, that's cool.
Guides to, you want to build your character to look like Darth Maul, here's how you could do it. So
Yeah.
there's surprisingly a variety of good ideas for how to play the game on TikTok. So really good place to go for a source of information there.
Cool.
Yeah.
This is one of my favorite episodes we've ever done.
That was really fun.
It was super fun.
And hopefully the wind is just taken out of our sails by the announcement of this subscription. But
I'm going to try to get this up early this week. That way we're ahead
just
of
in
it.
case we get out ahead of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So whenever that, we'll certainly be talking about that very soon.
Yes.
Hopefully we're bringing back only good news. But until then, we're tapping out.